Hey guys, welcome back to the hangar. In this episode, you can see that Amarillo has turned itself into a winter wonderland overnight, but we are going to be taking a break on working on the hangar and putting some new brake pads on the wife's car. This is Kelly's 2015 CRV. So we are going to start here on the front passenger side wheel just because that's where I got the most room in the shop. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull the wheel off. So these are a 19 millimeter here that goes on to pull the lug nuts off. So let's get the wheel off. So I like to loosen the lug nuts and then jack the wheel off the ground. Okay, so now that we got the wheel off, the first thing we need to do is here on this brake pad here, here's your caliper, and this faces the front of the vehicle. Down behind here, there is a 12 millimeter bolt that we have to remove. So we'll go ahead and zap that out. So there's that 12 millimeter bolt that came out, and now this whole thing should just kind of pivot up. Let me put my camera down. So this whole caliper should slide out. Let me take... Okay, so there's actually a bolt on the top as well. And we can just bring this up and set that off to the side on top of the rotor like that. Here on the front, we have these two kind of wire clips. There was one that fit right down here, and you see this other one that fits right here. We'll just pop those clips off, and now our whole brake pad should just slide out. And there is our brake pads. Those actually look pretty good. They got a lot of brake pad left on them. I'm changing these out because they've been squeaking. My wife's brakes have been squeaking for a while, but those got plenty of meat left on them. Now that I've already gone through all this effort of getting the wheel off and pulling it out, I'm going to go ahead and change them, but it'll be interesting to see which of the wheels the brake pads have been squeaking on. Those also got quite a bit of brake pad left, so I am not going to throw those away. I will keep them for replacements just to have on hand, but I am, like I say, they have been squeaking, so it's interesting that they're in such good shape. So the brake pads I bought are these Bendix CFC 914. They were just kind of a cheaper brand on Amazon, nothing special to them, but they did come with the brake pads. So we have, here's a new outside brake pad here, inside brake pad here. And they did also come with the hardware kit. So you'll see here that we have these clips on the top and the bottom. Use clip there. So we'll find matching clips and install those in their place. Now we have the outside brake pad here. You can see that the tab here is supposed to go towards the top. It did not come with a replacement plate like this, so I'll go ahead and install this just like it was when I pulled it off. Okay, with the brake pads in and the hardware clips on the top and the bottom, we need to install our spreader springs, or whatever you want to call them, the springs that separate the brake pads when you don't have any force on the hydraulic piston. So you have a spring that goes there, and a spring that goes there. Now to compress your brake cylinder here, you can just put the old brake pad in it and use a C-clamp and try and tighten that up slow. See, I got that piston compressed back in. And now we can try and fit the caliper back over the brake pads and try and get our upper and lower bolts started. Go ahead and tighten those down. And I recommend just a couple good snugs here, just enough to make sure that they're not going to come out. Okay, good. And that's it. That's 1 down, 3 to go. I say that. Let's jump back and put the wheel and tire back on. So now we'll just jump to the other side and repeat the whole process. So loosen my lug nuts. Go ahead and take the lug nuts all the way off and remove the wheel and tire. Take those 2 bolts off the caliper and pull the caliper off. Put new clips on where the old ones used to be. Put new brake pads in. Put the spreader clips in. Compress the cylinder there. Go ahead and reinstall it and tighten everything back down. Put the wheel back on and we are done. So we are going to jump to the rear passenger and go ahead and get the wheel off. So for the rear, I got these Bendix CFC 1086s to try and fit into these spots. So they come apart essentially the same way. You probably just saw I took the wheel off. There's just 2 12mm bolts that hold the caliper on. So once I pull the caliper off, you can take a look. The brake pads are actually a little bit different on this one. So the inside brake pad, they have these claw finger things that fit into the caliper body itself. So we're just going to make sure that we match up the right one that we pulled out. The one that we pulled out, looking at the claw like that, we got the tab on the left. So those 2 are going to match. And then the outside brake pad, essentially the same sort of thing. It just fits in the same slot that I pulled that one out from. So here on my caliper, I got a lot less brake line to work with this time, but there you can see. So I have this clip here that I need to replace. See if there's an easy way to get that out. Okay, so we have that clip there. I'll just put it back in. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I gotta put this inside brake pad. Okay, something like that. Get my C-clamp, try and compress that a little bit. Looks good. Here on the hanger, so again, we have some clips here, there. New brake pad. Now we'll slip this back into place. Get our bolts started. Okay, with that one done, we'll move on to the last one, which is the rear driver's side. So same sort of thing, pull the wheel and tire off, take your 2 bolts to remove your caliper, and pull the old pads off, replace your clips, put the new brake pads in. Go ahead and slide the caliper back over the rotor, put your bolts in, tighten them down, put the wheel and tire back on. Simple as that. So we are going to make all the good decisions and take the brand new brakes for a test drive in the snow. What could go wrong? So we're back and we survived and everything is working good. When I'm braking, it's not pulling left or right like one's not engaging properly or something like that. So I think it's all in good shape. So that'll end it for this video. And if you were wondering, that's how you change brake pads in a 2015 CRV.